So in 2016, I had a song written called Awesome. It didn't fit the project, My Shining Hour, because it was not per se in that, it was more of a pop approach. And then, and I thought, well, how can I use this song? And then somebody sent me a letter from a young kid. He was 13 or 14-year-old that had committed suicide due to bullying. And he wrote a letter hoping that somebody will read this and he will do something. So, well, it moved my heart because as a kid, I was bullied in school because I was very introverted, very skinny, very shy. As an artist, I was very shy. And on top of that, as I mentioned before, our home was a foster home for mentally challenged kids. So you can imagine when the name got out in school, when the word got out and, the name teasing and all that. So I said I could relate to the bullying, but what I couldn't relate is back then, we'd never hear of suicide from that.
Mm.
And I said, what would drive them to take their lives, from being bullied? And so the more I study, I said back in my days, home was still a safe home. Most parents were, they had a regular job and the mom was at home. And if she was not home, we were never really left alone.
Hmm.
And so it was a security. So you get bullied in school, but you kind of get your security back when you're home. As opposed to today, kids are left on their own a lot. Parents are busier, you know, and the dynamic of the family has changed dramatically. And on top of that, they're coming home with their device.
Yep.
So that means the bullying follows them home.
Hmm.
And 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 the attacker is more vicious because he's more courageous behind a screen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so what I understood is the more I dig into the studies and this and understanding the frontal part of the brain of a child that can reason is not developed until the age of 22, 23, all the way to 25. So
Right.
every decision they make is always based on emotion. So when you tell a kid, so what were you thinking when they do something wrong? The fact is they were not thinking, they were feeling, because that part is not developed. And it's only developing through the example of a role model older when, let's say, your kid sees one of the parent reacting through a situation that is not a fun situation. Well, how the parent will react to that situation will help develop the reasoning of that child.
Hmm.
Psychologically, that's how it's explained, at least. And we know the role models we have today are very, especially in the music industry or film industry, it's very low, right? So
It really is.
yeah, and then if parents are no longer there, and I think, I know people hate to hear that, but I made a promise to God I would be bold, not that I have all the answer, but what he's shown me, the father is not taking his responsibility today. And that's the bottom line. If the father is not there, is not present, that's going to create an imbalance completely in the
Hmm.
whole family. So there's going to a repercussion that will be felt for years to come.
Hmm.
And so that's what led me to really wanted to do this. And I used that song as that song, even though it was not per se a Christian song, because it was a pop feel, um, but it was based on Psalm 139:14, where it says, I am wonderfully, depending what version you read in the scripture, but one version from the complete Jewish Bible, it says, I am awesomely made, and this
Hmm.
I know well, wonderfully, intricately made. But King David said, but this I know well. So they have to understand that. You have to understand the intricacy and how complex we are. And it brings you into awe in front of the Creator. So that's what started it. So that's how the word awesome is, that the song says, I am awesome, created by the hands of God. And even though it was a pop song, the message was very instrumental. And I thought if we can teach them that in school, um, and how do we do this is to really to do the study of the body, how the human body is. You have 60,000 miles of blood vessels in the body. You have over 100 trillion cells in the body. So we come from one cell to 16 cells in 3 days. And so I explained the complexity that look at the human eye. There's no camera that can capture what your eyes can capture. You get over 1 million information per second. And so the heart beats, I mean, the complex is about the size of your fist, but it has to travel, push the blood through 60,000 miles of blood vessel every day,
Mhm.
which is basically going around the earth 2.5 times every day. That's what
Mhm.
60,000 miles is. And so when we understand that, let's say, and now you got me started because I get really fired about this. Um, the brain, the largest computer in the world, which is called the Japan K, takes 40 minutes to record what your brain can do in 1 second. 40 minutes, it's changing now with AI technology. But I'm talking, my studies was based in 2017, but 40 minutes to record what 1 second of your brain's activity is. And so no one's going to beat what God has done, no matter how advanced AI can become. Uh, the human spirit, the human soul, life is brought and created from God, and nothing can beat that. So once they understand this, even in a secular school, because we can approach them that way because it's a scientific data. Everything I'm saying is scientifically validated. So I could tell, interesting, when we talk about the kids, and purposely we talk about in the womb, in the baby at 5 months, your eyes, when we talk about the eyes, that's when they were created at 5 months. And at that time, a million optical nerves left the center part of the brain and met the million optical nerve from your eye area, and they had to connect and find a perfect partner. Uh, 1 million for 1 million, and that's when your eyes were created. And as if it's not enough, a month later, there's a little blade that comes and cuts this little area where your eyelashes start to grow. And so it's interesting. The reason I wanted to bring this up because it's a subtle way to show the teacher as well that is, that this thing going on inside, it's a real life.
Yeah.
It's not a mass of flesh that you can just abort. So it's a subtle way to be pro-life, and obviously. So I see a lot of fruits out of this. It's coming, wanting to do good, but wanting first to submit to God's plan. And because I wouldn't have thought of that on my own. And then eventually, my wife and I are doing more project like that. We develop with Victoria's Voice, The Secret Hero, uh, which is a series of 8 episodes that talks about what's going on inside and how to overcome certain things. So that we can teach in the secular world. It's a Christian disguised program so that we can enter in the secular world and talk about the awesomeness that resides in them. And so that led that project with the song "Awesome" led to that. But it was not an overnight Paul experience. It was a very
Yeah.
long process. I guess maybe I don't know, maybe probably stubbornness is the word, or just a slow learner would be
Yeah.
probably better.
Well, the project that you and your wife do, how can someone find out about that?
So the website is called Why I Count. But Y
Okay.
spells with a Y, not the
Okay.
WHY. It's just the letter Y, icount.org.
.org.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why
That's
it's
great.
a nonprofit, yeah. So they could see the series of 8 episodes there. Everything is
So,
free, and we did a song also, not a song, a short film, which won another Emmy, which is amazing. Uh, how God recognized this work in this type of field, right? So
yeah.
and it's about the teenage girls that are wrestling with body dysmorphia and
Oh,
self-harm. We see a lot of that today,
yeah.
uh, self-harm, and so that's addressing that situation, and it's through acts of kindness
Yeah.
and learning to walk in somebody else's shoes.
Yeah.
That you can, the problem is that with everything going on today, according to the latest study from Harvard, that empathy have decreased by 60%, right? So we see so many things that people are not, empathy is no longer part of their vocabulary. They that there's just, or their, daily lives because they're maybe there's too many things happening. There's just so much information out there. But we have
Yes.
to slow down and try to understand what this person's going through. And that's what this program is about.
Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts on our conversation by putting your comments below and visit thecallwithNancySabato.com to learn more about me and what we do here on the ministry. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. Your support means so much to us.